20 forgotten air travel features from the golden age of flying. Flying used to be more than just getting from point A to point B. It was an experience of pure luxury and excitement. From gourmet meals served on fine china to spacious seating and glamorous lounges, the golden age of air travel made every passenger feel like royalty. But as time went on, these magical features disappeared, leaving today's flights a shadow of what they once were. Stick with us as we uncover the forgotten treasures of flying's most glamorous era. You'll be wishing we could bring them all back. 1. Gourmet in-flight dining.
No, this isn't one of those tempting glossy magazine illustrations. It's just one of the many delicious items served on board.
Once upon a time, air travel was synonymous with luxury, and nowhere was this more evident than in the in-flight dining experience. Forget about foil-covered trays and reheated meals. During the golden age of air travel, passengers were treated to restaurant-quality dishes served at 30,000 feet. Menus often featured delicacies like lobster tails, filet mignon, caviar, and freshly baked bread, paired with fine wines and champagne. The food wasn't just tasty, it was presented on real china with silverware, and meals were served course by course, just like in a fine dining establishment. In first-class cabins, meals were sometimes cooked fresh on board by chefs using galley kitchens. Economy class wasn't left out either. While it didn't match the extravagance of first class, passengers still enjoyed hearty meals, fresh fruits, and desserts that felt special. Meals were personalized, with attendants asking for preferences and ensuring every passenger felt pampered. The emphasis on dining wasn't just about food, it was part of an effort to make flying an elegant experience. Airlines understood that the journey itself should be enjoyable, not just a means to reach your destination. Today, while first class and business travelers may still enjoy fine dining, the average passenger faces a reality far removed from this era of indulgence. Prepackaged sandwiches and plastic cutlery have taken the place of lobster and china, a stark reminder of just how far the golden age has faded. 2. Sky lounges on board. Imagine boarding a flight and finding not just rows of seats, but an actual lounge complete with a bar, sofas, and space to socialize. In the golden age of air travel, this wasn't just a fantasy, it was a reality on many planes, especially on jumbo jets like the Boeing 747s. Sky lounges were often located on the upper deck or in specially designated sections of the aircraft. These areas weren't just an extension of the cabin, they were like a floating cocktail party. Passengers could leave their seats mid-flight, grab a drink, and mingle with others in a space that felt more like an upscale hotel bar than an airplane. Some airlines even took it a step further, adding pianos, swivel chairs, and elaborate decor to create a truly luxurious ambiance. These lounges became a social hub where travelers could unwind, network, or simply enjoy the experience of flying in style. First-class passengers often had exclusive access, but on some flights, even economy passengers could enjoy the communal space. This concept emphasized that flying wasn't just about getting from point A to point B, it was an experience to savor. Today, sky lounges are a thing of the past, with airlines opting for more seating to maximize profits. What once symbolized the glamour and sophistication of air travel has been replaced by cramped rows and limited legroom, leaving us longing for the days when flying felt truly special. 3. Spacious economy seating. The term economy class didn't always mean cramped knees and claustrophobic rows. In the golden age of air travel, economy seating offered space and comfort that modern travelers could only dream of. Seats were wider, with ample legroom, allowing passengers to stretch out and relax during their journey. Back then, airlines focused on creating a pleasant experience for all passengers, not just those in first class. Seat pitch, the distance between rows, often measured 36 inches compared to the 30 inches that standard on many airlines today. This meant you could cross your legs, lean back, or even recline without invading your neighbor's space. Armrests were wider, and the seats themselves were plush and well padded, designed for long-haul comfort. On less crowded flights, it wasn't uncommon for passengers to spread out, sometimes even having an entire row to themselves. Cabins weren't overbooked, and airlines prioritized quality over quantity. This focus on comfort was part of a broader philosophy that the journey should be as enjoyable as the destination. Today, economy seating has become the least glamorous part of flying, with every inch of space optimized for maximum profit. Passengers are packed in like sardines, and reclining your seat is often met with glares. The contrast couldn't be more stark, leaving modern travelers longing for the days when economy class felt, well, comfortable. 4. In-flight fashion. Air travel in the golden age wasn't just about the experience, it was also about looking the part. Passengers treated flying like a special event, and their attire reflected it. Men wore tailored suits and ties, women donned elegant dresses and heels, and children were often dressed in their Sunday best. Boarding a plane felt more like attending a gala than simply traveling. This sense of occasion wasn't just limited to passengers. Flight attendants, then known as stewardesses, wore stylish uniforms designed by top fashion houses. Airlines like Pan Am, TWA, and Braniff collaborated with renowned designers to create chic and memorable looks, often featuring bold colors, tailored silhouettes, and accessories like scarves or hats. The emphasis on fashion added to the glamour of flying. Stepping onto a plane felt prestigious, and the collective effort to dress well enhanced the overall atmosphere. Looking around the cabin, you wouldn't see sweatpants or sneakers. Instead, you'd find well-dressed travelers who treated the journey with the respect it deserved. Today, air travel has become far more casual, and comfort has overtaken formality. While there's nothing wrong with prioritizing ease, the sense of occasion that once accompanied flying has all but disappeared. In the golden age, dressing well wasn't just about style, it was about contributing to the magic of the journey. 5. Complimentary cigarettes.
Their fellow flyers should skip their cigarettes, especially on short flights.
It may seem unthinkable today, but during the golden age of air travel, smoking was not just allowed, it was encouraged. Passengers were often given complimentary packs of cigarettes as part of their in-flight amenities, with brands like Camel or Marlboro prominently featured. Cabins were equipped with ashtrays built into the armrests, and smokers could light up anytime they pleased, turning the airplane into a floating lounge. Smoking was seen as a sign of sophistication and indulgence, and airlines leaned into this perception using smoking lounges and advertisements featuring glamorous passengers puffing away mid-flight. Of course, this came with its downsides. Non-smokers had little choice but to endure the hazy cabins, as air filtration systems weren't exactly state-of-the-art, yet in that era, the focus was on creating a luxurious experience, and smoking was considered part of that package. By the late 1980s, awareness of the health risks associated with secondhand smoke led to the gradual banning of smoking on flights. Today, the thought of lighting up in a pressurized cabin seems absurd, but it's a reminder of how much the culture around flying has changed. For better or worse, the complimentary cigarette was once a hallmark of the golden age of air travel. 6. Free alcohol for all. During the golden age of air travel, the drinks flowed freely. Passengers didn't need to pay extra for a glass of wine or a cocktail. Whether you were in economy, business, or first class, alcohol was included as part of the service. Airlines like Pan Am, TWA, and BOAC treated passengers to a selection of top-shelf liquors, wines, and champagne, all served with a smile by impeccably dressed flight attendants. For many, enjoying a drink at cruising altitude was part of the charm of flying. Bartenders on some flights would even mix custom cocktails, ensuring everyone's tastes were catered to. Imagine sipping on a perfectly made martini while reclining in your spacious seat, a far cry from today's overpriced, tiny bottles of mediocre wine served in plastic cups. This wasn't just about indulgence, it was about creating an elevated experience. Airlines viewed these perks as a way to distinguish themselves and make passengers feel like valued guests. Unfortunately, rising fuel costs and the push for profitability in the 1980s led to the end of free alcohol in most classes. Today, it's mostly reserved for first and business class, with economy passengers expected to pay for every sip. The days of complimentary champagne and cocktails for all may be long gone, but they remain a symbol of how flying was once a glamorous event rather than a utilitarian chore. 7. Ticketless boarding. Before the rise of computerized systems and stringent security measures, boarding a plane was a surprisingly simple process. You didn't need an e-ticket, a government-issued ID, or multiple scans at security checkpoints. Travelers could arrive at the airport, purchase a ticket at the counter, and head straight to the gate. This ticketless system reflected a time when flying was far less regulated and in many ways more relaxed. You could even hand your ticket to a loved one to board the plane in your place without anyone batting an eye. Last-minute travel was truly last minute with little red tape or fuss. Of course, this came with its risks. There were no electronic databases to track passengers, and security checks were minimal at best. But for most people, it made the process of flying feel spontaneous and easy. Families often walked their loved ones directly directly to the gate, a far cry from today's rules that restrict non-travelers to waiting outside security. While modern air travel emphasizes safety and efficiency, the ease and flexibility of ticketless boarding are sorely missed. It was an era when flying felt personal, not like navigating a bureaucratic maze. 8. Airline branded swag. Flying in the golden age often came with souvenirs. Airlines handed out branded swag to passengers as a way to leave a lasting impression. From playing cards and matchbooks to toiletries and postcards, these little gifts added a personal touch to the flying experience. Children received coloring books, toy planes, or pins with the airline's logo, while adults might take home elegant toiletry kits filled with cologne, hand cream, and even sewing kits. Some airlines offered collectible items like menus or route maps, making the journey feel even more memorable. These gifts weren't just about marketing, they were part of creating an experience that felt thoughtful and luxurious. Passengers left the plane with a tangible reminder of their trip, something they could share or keep as a memento. Today, the idea of receiving free swag on a flight feels almost laughable. Airlines now focus on maximizing revenue, charging for even basic amenities. The branded swag of the past is a reminder of when flying wasn't just about the destination, it was about the journey. 9. Private cabins. In the golden age, first-class travelers enjoyed a level of luxury that's hard to imagine today. On certain long-haul flights, private cabins or suites were available, offering passengers a fully enclosed space complete with sofas, beds, and even personal attendants. These cabins weren't just about privacy, they were about creating a home-like atmosphere in the sky. Travelers could recline on a couch, enjoy a gourmet meal at a proper table, and then retire to a fully made bed for a comfortable night's sleep. For couples or families, the ability to book an entire cabin added to the exclusivity of the experience. The interiors were often lavishly decorated, with plush carpets, curtains, and wood paneling that gave the space a cozy yet upscale feel. Airlines like Pan Am and BOAC became famous for these first-class cabins, which redefined what luxury travel meant. While modern first-class suites on airlines like Emirates or Singapore Airlines offer similar privacy, the charm and elegance of the golden age's private cabins remain unmatched. They were a testament to a time when airlines prioritized passenger comfort over profit margins. 10. Pre-boarding cocktail hours. Flying in the golden age didn't just start at takeoff, it began at the terminal. Many airlines hosted pre-boarding cocktail hours, inviting passengers to relax with a drink and mingle before their flight. These events often took place in exclusive airline lounges or stylish waiting areas that felt more like upscale bars than airport terminals. Bartenders served martinis, champagne, and other cocktails, while hors d'oeuvres were passed around on silver trays. For business travelers, it was an opportunity to network, and for families, it added a touch of glamour to the travel experience. These cocktail hours weren't just about hospitality, they were about setting the tone for the flight. Passengers boarded the plane already feeling relaxed and pampered, a far cry from the stress and chaos of modern airports. Today, pre-boarding drinks are largely reserved for premium lounge members, leaving most travelers with long lines and overpriced coffee. The pre-boarding cocktail hour is a relic of a time when flying was an event, not just a means of getting somewhere. 11. Flight attendant glamour. During the golden age of air travel, flight attendants were seen as the embodiment of elegance and sophistication. Then referred to as stewardesses, these women weren't just service professionals, they were cultural icons. Airlines hired young, attractive candidates and dressed them in designer uniforms created by names like Emilio Pucci and Pierre Balmain. Their appearance was meticulously curated, with hairstyles, makeup, and even the way they walked and spoke carefully monitored. Stewardesses often wore bold colors, tailored skirts, and accessories like scarves and hats, creating a sense of glamour and exclusivity. Airlines promoted them as part of the luxury experience, often featuring them in ads that promised attentive, beautiful service. Beyond their style, flight attendants were known for their poise and professionalism. They were trained in everything from emergency protocols to offering gourmet meals with a smile. This combination of charm and competence added to the mystique of air travel, making every flight feel special. Today, while flight attendants remain crucial to the airline experience, the glamour of the role has faded. Uniforms are more practical than stylish, and the industry has shifted focus to efficiency. The stewardess of the golden age remains a symbol of an era when flying wasn't just about transportation, it was about being pampered in the sky. 12. In-flight magazines with real substance. In the past, the Inflight magazine was a highlight of the journey. Unlike today's often bland offerings, these magazines were well crafted and engaging, featuring long-form articles, stunning photography, and even works of fiction by well-known authors. Airlines treated their magazines as extensions of their brand. They showcased destinations, cultural stories, and even curated travel guides that felt personal and thoughtful. Some, like Pan Am's Clipper, became famous for their high-quality content. Passengers would often take these magazines home as keepsakes, with their glossy covers and unique articles making them stand out from other publications. These magazines weren't just marketing tools, they were a reflection of the golden age of air travel. They invited passengers to dream about future destinations while celebrating the act of traveling itself. Today, in-flight magazines are often skimpy and filled with ads. Some airlines have done away with them altogether in favor of digital options. The beautifully crafted magazines of the past remind us of a time when even the smallest details of air travel were designed to inspire. 13. Airplane deck tours. For many passengers during the golden age of air travel, a trip to the cockpit was the highlight of the flight. Pilots often welcome passengers, especially children, into the cockpit to see the controls, meet the crew, and marvel at the view from the front of the plane. This wasn't just a rare treat, it was a common practice that made flying feel more personal and magical. Pilots took pride in explaining the aircraft's features, and passengers were thrilled to get a behind-the-scenes glimpse of aviation in action. Today, strict security protocols have made such visits impossible. The cockpit is now off-limits to passengers, with heavy doors and locks ensuring safety. While this change is understandable, it's hard not to feel nostalgic for a time when flying felt more open and inviting. The cockpit visit symbolized the trust and connection between passengers and crew, something that's largely absent in modern air travel. 14. Double-decker plane. Double-decker planes like the Boeing 377 Stratocruiser and later the Boeing 747 offered a unique and luxurious flying experience. These aircraft featured two levels, with the upper deck often reserved for lounges, bars, or first-class seating. The lower level sometimes housed dining areas or even private compartments, allowing passengers to move around and enjoy the flight in a way that's unheard of today. Airlines used these double-decker designs to create an atmosphere of exclusivity and space, giving passengers the feeling of being on a flying hotel. The double-decker planes of the golden age weren't just about size, they were about creativity. The layouts encouraged socializing and made the journey feel like an event, while modern planes like the Airbus A380 also have two levels. The charm and innovation of the Stratocruiser and 747's early designs remain unmatched. 15. Wide open seats. During the golden age of air travel, flights weren't packed to capacity like they are today. Airlines prioritized passenger comfort over profit margins, meaning it wasn't uncommon for flights to have empty rows or spacious seating arrangements. This allowed passengers to stretch out, relax, and even lie down across multiple seats. The generous seat spacing meant that even economy class felt comfortable. Families could spread out, business travelers could work without elbowing their neighbors, and solo flyers could enjoy some much-needed personal space. Today, overbooking and crammed rows have turned air travel into a test of patience. The wide-open cabins of the past are a reminder of an era when airlines treated passengers as guests, not just numbers. 16. In-flight fine china. During the golden age of air travel, even the simplest meal service was elevated by one key detail: fine china and real cutlery. Airlines like Pan Am and BOAC served meals on porcelain plates with actual silverware, complete with glass tumblers and wine glasses. The presentation made every meal feel special, whether you were enjoying a steak in first class or a hearty casserole in economy. Passengers were treated to full table settings, complete with linen napkins and even salt and pepper shakers. The thoughtfulness behind this service was a testament to the belief that flying should feel like an occasion, not a chore. Today, meals on most flights are served in disposable containers with plastic utensils, if meals are served at all. The use of fine china and real tableware is a relic of a time when airlines prioritized the experience of flying over cost-cutting measures. 17. No security hassles. Imagine arriving at the airport and walking straight to your gate without long lines or invasive screenings. In the golden age of air travel, security was minimal, and the process was incredibly fast and easy. There were no body scanners, no removing shoes, and no unpacking your laptop. And travelers often arrived at the airport just minutes before their flight, breezing through the terminal without a second thought. Families could accompany passengers all the way to the gate, creating a more personal and emotional send-off. While the relaxed security protocols of the past wouldn't work in today's world. They remind us of a time when flying was far less stressful. Airports weren't places of tension, they were gateways to adventure. 18. Complimentary airport transfers. In the golden age of flying, the luxury experience didn't start or end at the airport. Many airlines included chauffeur or limousine services as part of the ticket price, ensuring passengers traveled to and from the airport in style. This perk was particularly common for first-class passengers, who could count on being picked up in a sleek car and driven directly to the terminal. Some airlines even extended this service to business-class travelers, making the entire journey seamless and luxurious. Today, airport transfers are an additional expense, often arranged by the traveler themselves. The disappearance of this service is another reminder of how airlines have shifted their focus from hospitality to efficiency. 19. Competitive perks for loyalty. In the golden age of air travel, airlines didn't just want your loyalty, they earned it with extravagant perks. Frequent flyers were treated to more than just miles. They received gifts like fine wine, luxury items, or free upgrades. Some airlines even offered personalized thank you notes and invitations to exclusive events. The competition for customer loyalty was fierce, and airlines went out of their way to make passengers feel valued. For frequent flyers, these perks added a personal touch that made every trip feel special. Today, loyalty programs are often complicated and impersonal, focusing on points and tier statuses. The personal connection between airlines and their passengers has largely disappeared, replaced by automated emails and standardized rewards. 20. Exotic stopovers. Long-haul flights in the golden age often included stopovers in exotic locations, turning a layover into part of the adventure. Airlines like Pan Am and BOAC scheduled stops in cities like Hong Kong, Bangkok, or Casablanca, giving passengers a chance to stretch their legs and explore a new destination. These stopovers weren't just practical, they were glamorous. Passengers could enjoy a meal, shop for souvenirs, or even take a short tour before reboarding their flight. For many, these stops were an exciting bonus that added value to the journey. Today, stopovers are often seen as an inconvenience, with many passengers opting for direct flights whenever possible. The sense of wonder that once accompanied these layovers has been replaced by crowded airport terminals and rushed connections.